we all laughed at Roy Hodgson when he came back. Well, we didn't laugh at him. We laughed at kind of just, at no one in particular, just the kind of absurdity that, like, you know, you do Roy Hodgson, which is grand, you know, experienced manager, but then think, we got to move it on. We got to get the new young managers coming in, like Patrick Vieira. And okay, it doesn't have to work out, but you don't go back. You know, never go back. That's what we say.
Yeah.
But I don't remember Patrick Vieira winning 5-1 against Leeds at any point in the season.
I'm pretty sure the whole reason he was fired because they couldn't score a goal. I don't think they scored a goal this year or something like that.
There was some outrageous statistic that they hadn't scored in the last 4 years. Hadn't had a shot on target or something. Yeah. And then Roy said, listen, lads, when I was in Inter Milan back in the early 2000s, we used to kick the ball in the goal all the time.
I mean, what? There's no way he's that much better a manager. Surely, like, was he just like, just try kick it? What was Vieira telling them?
I'll tell you what Vieira was telling them, right? I did see when I think Zaha was doing one of those day in the life of a footballer kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he was showing the camera crew around. I was like, yeah, this is where we get the training in. This is where we get the pre-match or the pre-training, gym work in, activations, that kind of stuff. And he's in the car park. I was like, this is where we back our cars. Like, he was giving the whole rundown, right? I bet Jared walked by him. He said, oh, camera's here today. I guess you're going to try today in training. You know? And it was kind of half joking. Like, he just continued walking. Like, said like a drive-by. He said it walked by. And Zaha was like, did you hear that? He said, now the camera's here. We're going to try today in training. You know, what's he like?
I'll show him.
In Zaha's was all very kind of, that's funny. Not sure exactly when that was filmed, you know?
Yeah.
That can fester sometimes. And he goes, if he says that to me one more time, I'm not going to score for 3 months.
I'll show him. Yeah. When all the cameras are on me, then I'll show him who can't score.
You want to see cameras? Watch this. Enjoy your press conference, you prick.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
This is a shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
Because he was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the time.
No problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. The home straight is kicking up some interesting results, Will.
Yep, it's all to play for now, and not much time to play in.
That's well put, Will.
Thanks.
It was like you're one of these commentators on the games. They start to do it this time of year. They go, it's almost like, I look down the table, I see every game. Every single game matters. Every game is huge. Every game is worth watching. I was like, that'd be a good pitch if you showed all the games.
Yeah.
For one. I wouldn't oversell it too much, because if you say that all the games matter, then why aren't you showing them?
Yeah.
You know? But well, look, we still got the big ones. We still got Arsenal. We still got Liverpool.
Yeah.
Interesting statistic came out before the game that Arsenal hadn't won in Anfield in the league in 11 years.
Yeah.
I thought, but surely that's just that's not important to this year's league. Not the way that Arsenal are playing. Not the way that Liverpool are playing.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they go 2-0 up, and I go, I knew it. It's all just superstition.
It's all bollocks.
Arsenal go on to win this game comfortably.
Yep.
And then the linesman got involved and started riling them up, elbowing lads left, right, and centre.
It really, I don't know if you saw Carragher talking after the game about Xhaka, where he's like, because he's like squared up to Trent at one stage, and he's like, up until then, the crowd was silent. All of a sudden, they see a bit of a tussle, and then they remember, hey, we're in Anfield. Let's make it impossible to win.
It is got a fucking weird grip on people, Anfield.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear all different type of people from all different clubs over Europe saying it, like, yeah, man, like, nowhere else is like that. Nowhere else. You go to your Anfield on Champions League night, and they suck the ball in. It's just like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
How are my normal skills not working here? How are they so much better and faster here? And it was a bit dead, 2-0 up, but I think a lot of stadiums, say the bigger ones, like an Old Trafford, or like, say, even the Emirates in the bad days, like, it's so big, it can become very cavernous when it's going against you, and it's like, oh, yeah, these lads don't want it.
There's a lot of eyes looking at me.
Yeah, so even when something like does rile up the crowd for 5 minutes, it can then dissipate again. But it just reverberates around that ground, and then that team has had so many good nights there as well that it brings back all those memories. So yeah, it's fucking sickening, to be honest. That it has a magic power. And it did. They came back into the game, and it was. I don't know. I mean, I don't know which even. Is there any individuals to blame for the goals?
No,
it was just.
It was. You couldn't have stopped them if you tried.
I mean, that first goal was. I don't want to say scrappy or sloppier to try and say, "Oh, it wasn't a goal." Like, it was just the way that they first set it up with Curtis Jones and then Jota, that pullback. That was like, okay, that's a nice bit of skill. And then he cut back to Henderson, where he should have been. Yeah. But he stuck a leg out.
Yeah, he just lashed at it.
That was the only bit of luck. Salah, of course, was like on the ball. He knew where it was going to go, and he just, it was kind of a finisher's finish, I suppose. You know, he was just right place, right time. Mm-hmm. And then the second goal was just a really, really good header by Firmino. Yeah. That's the main thing. But then Zinchenko got done by Trent.
I mean, you don't want to be the guy who's pictured crying after getting nutmegged. Did you see that picture?
No.
Not good.
Did I see that picture? Did I see that picture plus all the other times he cried being brought up again? It's like, this lad's always crying. You know? Hey, you're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir right now. Yeah, well, the fact that it took him off afterwards, if that was like, you did this.
Yeah, this is on you. Like, this was a huge moment in our season, and it's your fault. Yeah,
and I was at an Easter sports extravaganza, to be honest. 2 screens. There was the GA one room, football in the other. They watched the Masters and all night. It was just like sport, food, drink. It was fucking savage. It was unreal. Great day, but like it was just like screens everywhere, and I was like watching them both. And then I saw there was one lad had the score reaction on his phone. Or not the score reaction.
Live score.
The score update. Live score. I couldn't think of the word. Live score. And we were on it. It was like on a delay, the match. So I was like, oh, there's a goal coming. Does anyone want to watch this? You know, we're like, oh, fuck. And then he was like, someone else like, who's it for? I was like, I don't want to say it. I'll let you watch this.
So well, I know who has the ball.
No. And, yeah, I look at the screen and Sal, or I think it's Jota going down that way. He's like, no.
Maybe it's a counter. Maybe it's a goal from Ramsdale.
Yeah. Maybe it's just like it's a tackle come shot that lobbed Alisson from the halfway line. No, and then I just saw it going, and it was just such a deflating feeling. But yeah, the second goal, I mean, what can you do? It was a good finish. A great setup from Trent of all people as well. It's like he's such a bad defender, but then it's like he has that. You gotta watch that attacking threat he has, because you might forget. He had a few chances there at the end. They left him take a shot. I was like, don't let him take a shot. You know, he can do that. Yeah. I don't think he's a bad player all around.
No, that's one of his things.
That's one of his good things, is he can shoot and he can assist. Yeah, and then honestly, they were just lucky that Ramsdale came to the rescue a couple of times at the end.
His best game, I'd say.
I mean, 3 or 4-2 at the end. Yeah. So, in that sense, by the end, you're thinking, well, I'm glad we got a point. But, yeah, 2-0 up.
Yeah.
In Anfield. 2-1 up at half-time, I suppose. You know.
And Liverpool missed a penalty as well.
Salah misses another penalty. What's going on?
I don't know, yeah. It's an odd one.
Mo Pala.
No Pala.
No Pala. He wants to. He's thinking long term.
I don't want to be.
I don't feel that all they score is penalties, so I'm going to miss them all from now on, and then they can say, "Well, he's not a penalty merchant, so then give him that."
Yeah. But yeah, it was odd, especially in a game like that where the ball is getting sucked in, that the penalty didn't get sucked in. Normally, that's like, oh, here we go. Here's a definite one.
Yeah. I thought that was going to be a turning point, you know, because like they'd already scored at that point. Are they? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Could be wrong there.
I think so. So this was the equalizer. You know, this was like, we've turned around. Now we start the game again in Anfield. You know.
Yeah.
So the fact that he missed, was like, oh, okay, perfect. That'll take all the momentum out.
Yeah, close call.
But look, you can look at it 2 different ways, and like, oh well, you know, Anfield, all this kind of stuff. The other side is that, like, well, if you want to win the league, these are the games you have to win. You know,
yeah.
Like obviously they're tough games. Obviously it's a good team. They have ability, and it's a tough place to go. But that's why you're the best team in the league.
Yeah.
you win these games. So the fact they didn't, it's not encouraging with the other results coming up, or the other fixtures coming up for Arsenal. But I mean, for Liverpool, it just adds to the mystery of their whole season, to be honest.
Yeah, they could turn it on and off seemingly at will.
Yeah, it's like, and again, that comes down to the managers. Like, okay, if you have ability in your players, surely your job is to manage that energy and manage that ability to last 30 games or to be in the cups. And yeah, maybe you can write it all off to, okay, last season it was 2 games off the quadruple. And this is just kind of a hangover that was inevitably going to come. And yes, they need recruitment. Yes, they need replacement. But, Klopp has earned time, deserved the time to turn around. But yeah, I don't know. What's your feel on it, Will?
I don't know, because again, it's tough to tell with Liverpool. I mean, they're pretty far off. They're drifting away from fourth every week, it feels like. Especially, I think Newcastle have won the last 5 in a row. So they're back fully. So it is getting to the time where it's like, all right, well, what are you playing for, boys? Are you gunning for top 4, or have you packed it in already? And then in games like this where they can just switch it on, it's like, it's such a waste of a season, it feels like. You have the talent and the players and the skills and the manager, but it's just like, I don't know, tired, I suppose.
Yeah.
And also, we kind of blew by that the ref elbowed Robertson in the neck.
Oh, yeah.
That was
we
mad.
can get to that. It was, because I saw it first, they do the wide shot and they zoom in, it's kind of pixelated. Yeah. So at first glance, I thought he was doing a Mitrovic where he pushes his elbow back. It's like, hey, look at me, I'm talking to you, look at me. Yeah. And then you zoom in and he was talking to him. I think, did he grab his arm or did he say anything to him at all?
I think he might have been pointing a bit.
And he just threw the elbow back and don't fucking get near me.
It's a mad choice for a ref.
And then Robertson gets booked, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. It was your fault. You riled me up.
Yeah, well, it's like, what did he say to the ref? I wonder.
I bet you won't elbow me.
No, when the linesman went over to his other fourth official friends, and then there's all Robertson was obviously come back like, what you fucking did to me? And the ref's like, what happened? He went, somebody elbowed someone in the throat. You make up your mind who it was. I think it was Robertson. Damn right it was. I mean, what did he give Robertson the yellow for? The ref, I guess.
But what happens now? Does the ref get a 10-game ban or whatever? Yeah,
whatever Mitrovic got. Yeah, give it to him, I guess. It was just like, what was that?
It's so bizarre. I guess it was just. I mean, no one's infallible. I'm sure it was just a man who had heard one too many things in his ear in the first 45 minutes, and then was just like, "Get off me." Oops, I'm not allowed to do that.
Oh, should not have done that. It's tough being linesman too, because you're obviously by the crowd. So he has probably heard of the worst things ever, in different games. And particularly that game when Liverpool were losing.
It has to be someone's fault.
Hey, look, linesman in front of me. Maybe he should get an earful. Yeah. And then Robertson goes, "You're doing shit jobs. I've had enough of this."
That's it.
Get off me. Swing back the elbow. Yeah, Robertson was in disbelief.
Yeah.
He was going, he's helping me in the gym. He's helping me in the fucking gym. It was.
But this is the thing as well, because I think this was Roy Keane's problem, was the reaction. But I think it's so ingrained in the players to react when something like that happens. It felt like he was trying to get the linesman sent off.
Yeah. It's like if someone was to. This thing is like when someone does what Mitrovic did, or when someone genuinely is to try and hurt you.
Yeah, intimidate.
There's little touches, there's little flicks, there's little pullbacks of the arm, but nothing with real kind of malice.
Yeah.
So, and you're going out for all the other stuff. So when someone actually swings back an elbow or actually just fully kicks you off the ball, you are in disbelief. I can't believe he's actually fouled me here. Yeah. I pretend all the time, but he's actually elbowed me in the face.
Hey, we're all faking it. Yeah. It's like when it's like when a wrestler gets punched for real. Whoa.
Yeah. That's not part of what we do here. Yeah. This is an entertainment industry, okay? This is not, So I think he was, and then you compound that with there was a referee. He was what? These are guys who are meant to protect me from the non-fouls, and he's actually elbowed me in the face.
Yeah.
Like, because he wasn't like, oh, I'm going to fucking kill him. You know, he was literally like, guys, did anybody see that? Am I going insane?
What's he going over to him for? And what's he complaining for? I said at half time, Robertson, what a baby. What a big baby. Just get on with the game. Baby. Honestly. Child. Right, we're going to finish.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's. I think that was Roy Keane's issue with this.
Yeah.
I think if he was like, I'm going to batter that referee, Roy would have gone, yeah, I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, if he touched with that, he would be playing next half. That much, you know. Yeah. But because he was like complaining, he's like, he's the guy you complain to. Like, you know, it's all fucked. You can't be whining to him, you know.
Yeah. It was mad. I don't think I've ever seen that before. The only time I've seen a ref do that violent is like on a YouTube compilation of like soccer's most shocking moments where a ref headbutts someone or something, but never actually seen it in a Premier League game.
Some Sunday League game in Ecuador just kicks off and they all, you know, the ones that chase the ref on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
And the entire crowd has chased the ref down the tunnel. One of those ones because the ref was like headbutt somebody or something like that. But no, like it was just, like I say, I guess everyone's not infallible. He probably had a torrid 45 minutes up and down that line.
Yeah.
Liverpool fans or even Arsenal fans probably as well. Anybody who sees the lines when referee just thinks, yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him. And
you're a fat fuck.
Every single decision he makes is wrong.
Yeah. Do your job, Hansman. Do your job.
I'm trying. You know? You're distracting me.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen to that. Maybe Robertson gets banned. I don't know.
That'd be good. That'd be funny.
Did Klopp have any mad press comments after the game or anything like that?
No, not particularly. He did say before the game he was interviewed in one of the Sky Sports promo packages, you know, where they kind of do like a mix of interview and hype video, one of those ones. This rubbish this year is entirely on me. So he knows the drill. But he's not one to be hiding or to be deflecting towards his players. He is taking the brunt of it, which I think it's well and good now when he has the time. I mean, you don't want to be doing that if things are still going wrong and start next season. Like, well, it's me. I'm the problem. If there's anyone to blame, it's definitely me. Because then eventually they will blame you, and you're gone.
Yeah, no, he does. He hypes up players a lot when it's going well. But when it's going bad, he does say, "Oh no, that wasn't their fault. This one's actually my fault." You know, I think that's why he's very likable as well. Because you know, we obviously take the piss out of Lampard and stuff a lot when he does it. But like when a manager comes out and is like, yeah, I don't know what they're doing out there. It's like instantly you can relate. Anybody who's ever had a boss can relate. Like you fucker, like you know, you're going to come out here and throw me on the bus. Like it's such a disgusting look, you know. Yeah. So if a manager comes out, it's like, hey, you know what? Don't you lay a hair on Mo Salah's head, okay? That boy's an angel. Yeah. You think, oh, thanks. I like Klopp, you know. Even you're not Liverpool fan, it's like you respect that kind of like protecting of the players because he knows that they're the ones who you get a lot of the blame. So yeah, he knows how to take the blame and then also give out the praise. He doesn't try and say, yeah, man, my substitutions, they worked a charm, you know.
I've done it again.
Yeah, like when he apologized to Shaqiri for not playing him enough. It's like, oh, sorry, man, you know, we try and get ready a fair crack the whip here, but it's just one of those things, you know.
It's like, Mo Salah is so good, Shaq, I'm sorry.
It's another, I guess, good day for Liverpool in a day and a season of bad days, but if they're going to go on a run to get fourth, they're running out of weeks. That's the only thing.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, not bad results in the grand scheme of things for Arsenal, but it's when you look across and you see Man City steamrolling another team. They've really ramped it up again. It was a slow start to the season, but they're in firm 4-0, 5-0 mode now. Yeah,
I think this is the run. We're in it.
Yeah,
you know,
it's happening.
We can stop waiting for it. It's happening around us. And Haaland scored 2 goals and got taken off at like 60 minutes again.
Something like that, yeah. Keep him fresh.
Same with that Champions League game where he was going for the record and he took him off. It's like, okay, stay on there, bud. We have a lot more games where we're going to just score 2 to 3 goals in. So, they're ramping up now for the win.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we beat this team easily, take off star players. You know, you see like Julian Alvarez also scored again as a backup, you know, just insane. And then I think De Bruyne's coming into a bit of form as well at the right time. Like he's been good all season, but this is the one you want him pinging those passes on people's heads, you know. They beat who was us?
Southampton.
Not great for Gavin Bazuna.
No,
in
that
the
seems to
goal.
be happening to him a lot. Not a good team to be at.
No, I don't know. I haven't checked the stats, but sometimes they can have the most on the saves. You're on.
I don't think
conceding
that's
a lot
the
of goals.
case. Yeah,
I don't think that's the case either.
No.
I think they're just going in.
there was
you
one
know.
of the goals. It was a shot at him, and it was a good save, but the save deflected directly onto Grealish's foot, and he just scored immediately. So it's like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm not good at goalkeeping, but I know sometimes I see goalkeepers do that, and the commentators are mad at it.
yeah. Yeah, it is easy to blame the goalkeepers because it's kind of like, would you not palm it out to the left?
Exactly.
Like, I was looking to get a hand to it, pal. It's like, well, I'm just saying, you put on a plate for Grealish. Yeah, I think like there was one game there, I don't know what it was, but yeah, it actually was. It was the United game where Coleman caught it perfectly sweetly, but it was right at the head, so just caught it, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like the speed of that ball, the sweetness of that strike, but that the top goals will catch. So that's the kind of level you put people. I was like, catch that, will you? It's like they can't all catch it. You can't catch it all the time.
It was coming right at your head.
Palm it out.
Catch it.
Yeah, it's right at him. Well, it's above his head, but whatever. So I mean, look, I don't think the goalies ever get blamed in the relegation side like that, but it'd be nice for him to get some good performances, some heroic performances.
Yeah.
To keep them up somehow. I think that's what would be great for Gavin Bazuna. But look, no one's down him. The other big game this weekend, I think there was a lot of 3 p.m. games on. They're obviously not shown here legally.
Yeah.
So you got to pick one. Instantly, like, Brighton, Tottenham. That's the game. That's the game you're going to watch. You obviously got Irish interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
In Evan Ferguson didn't start, but came on. But they got into it. Will
Yeah.
two sides that I'd say honestly not even having to go at Tottenham, but like they're probably evenly matched. Just in terms of like the form that Tottenham are in and the ability that Brighton have. And when you watch them play, like they do move the ball very quickly.
Yeah.
And they move it, really well. Get themselves into good positions. So it was unfortunate that they got robbed then in the end. When they were so evenly matched that they also had to battle referees in the VAR room.
I think there was 5 contentious decisions that Brighton are looking into, which is your team should never have to look into any of the decisions.
No, and it does come up a lot. Like the managers of say smaller clubs or whatever you want to call them will say, you never get to rub the green.
Yeah,
you can say it's a good tactic to like, everyone's against this kind of thing, and siege mentality. But this one now was pretty insane.
Yeah,
like the standout one is the Mitoma one, the penalty. Did you see that one?
Yes.
Like, okay, Brighton were knocking the door. It was 2-1. They were 2-1 down, I think.
Yeah,
maybe it was 1-1.
1-1.
But they were 1-1. They're looking for the goal, and they were like knocking around. It was coming, and then Mitoma just like ran out the ball, and then it kind of went down very easily. I was like, oh yeah, that's a classic. Like, we don't know how we're going to get the goal here. They have 11 men behind the ball, so let's just try and win a penalty. So I understand they're after seeing that, and Mitoma probably went down a bit easy, but whatever, right? There's a system. It's called VAR, Video Assistant Referee.
In
That's what it's
case
short for.
the ref misses anything.
Just in case, in a circumstance like this, that like it's the ball's knocked around very quickly. You're thinking that these lads are knocking on the door. They're looking for a penalty. Don't give a penalty. But hey, sometimes there genuinely is a real penalty shout, and it was just, he stood in his foot in the box,
stamped on him, on his ankle in the box, and tripped him and hurt him, I would say.
Mitoma got there ahead of him. He nipped in ahead. He tried to get the ball, and whether he was intentionally stamping his foot or it was a trailing leg, he stopped his progress. He would have got the ball, and any way you cut it, any way of the rules, like it's like he did impede him. He did stand at him. VAR saw, and they went, I don't know what they said. I don't know what they said. I don't know what the ruling was. It was like, well, he was going for the ball. I don't know what they managed to contort the rules for it to not be a Brighton goal. But yeah, that was a clear one. That should have been a penalty.
Yeah.
They had 2 goals disallowed in the game.
2 goals disallowed. One fairly fair enough handball where it did hit his shoulder, but his hand was out very far, so it looks I could see any ref giving that as a handball. But then there was another, which I don't know.
I don't know about the shoulder one. The shoulder one, I mean, part of it as well is that he was running on the ball. He was going to get it, and then Romero just like blatantly pushes him in the back, pushes him forward, so that the ball was like literally an inch further down his arm than it would have been.
Yeah,
he still controls this. I mean, you can just tell that, like, again, if you're going to look at the Minotoma penalty that wasn't given, you say, look, he was going for the ball, he just happened to nip in, and therefore was no intent, no malice. Then you have to look at them and go, listen, he was pushed in the back.
Yeah.
You can see clearly that he controlled that ball perfectly. He would have controlled it even better, and he still would have scored. So, I mean, what are you giving the penalty for? You know what I mean? If you're going to use this kind of like logic of like, well, you know, if you look at it this way, like he was pushed in the back by Romero, that wasn't given a penalty. Like, again, push maybe not free, but like, if it's directly resulting in you now handballing the ball, then you stop the goal scoring opportunity. Like it's there's evidence because you're not giving the goal because he's handballless, because he pushed him, then that's a penalty. It has to be. It just has to be a penalty. And okay, it was marginal. Maybe it was a handball. Maybe it wasn't. It was right on the shoulder, top of the bicep. It's very small margins. But that's my feeling on that. If you're going to say that's a handball, then you say it's a handball because he pushed him, therefore a penalty. Surely VAR has the authority to do that, and they should do that.
Or even just the wherewithal to think two things ahead, like, well, that happened, then this. It doesn't seem like that's the case, though. They go, the ref said handball, let's look for a handball. And they put the blinkers on.
I know people hate when you make comparisons to rugby, but when they're doing it in rugby, it's the same thing. It's like I'm the assistant to the referee. I'm not a referee. So the referee is like extremely clear in what he says. Yeah. So he says stuff like, is there any reason I can't award the try?
Yeah.
Which leaves it open to say, okay, I'm giving you the authority to give me anything that is. Now, I'm not saying I'm looking for if he stood over the line. No, he didn't stand over the line. Oh, yeah, he punched me in the face, but he didn't ask for that.
That was ages ago, man.
So
we didn't worry about that.
Hey, you asked about the line, I told you about the line. You didn't, so that's what they leave it like, is there any reason? So is there any, the VAR ref should either have an instruction or have the authority to say, well, okay, that isn't, but I'll tell you what, the push in the back is a cause of that, and therefore, right, all that aside, we're just going to pretend that doesn't exist. The other goal, which was disallowed, Danny Welbeck. Oh, he would love that goal, Will, former Arsenal man. I heard a commentator saying that.
Years ago.
I don't know if that's still in his mind when he plays Tottenham twice a year for whatever club he's
He
played
also
for.
played for United. Would he love a goal against Arsenal?
Would he love a goal against Leeds, perhaps? Because of that old thing? I don't know. Who knows what Danny Welbeck's motivation to her? I'd say he's thinking, if I score another goal, I might give him another contract. I'd say that's where his priorities are. But anyways, right, he gets a chance to score one of these precious goals that he loves against every team. And our boy, our Irish boy, McAllister, the Argentinian Irish boy, gets in the way and it strikes his arm, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that was the ruling? It was, now I'll say this, Will, down by his side. So what does that mean? Is that in a natural position?
Yeah. What else could he possibly have done? That is as tight to your body as you can get your arm.
Yeah, this is where the handball falls down, because it's like, if the ball hit off his arm in that situation, he would have been grand.
Yeah.
If he was defending,
Yeah.
No penalty, no chance. But because it changed the way the ball went in the goal, it's like, well, then it was a handball. But if that hit his hip, it would have been the same thing.
Yeah.
It hit his leg. It wasn't like he palmed it in or controlled it with his hand. It just happened to hit off his arm.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can look at the wider situation.
Exactly.
I think it doesn't make any odds. I think if it hits his leg or hits his arm, it deflects the same way. It wasn't that he used the palm or anything.
Yeah.
It was just.
It felt like one where I think even if Spurs fans or Spurs players had have seen that and it wasn't called, they would be like, no, that's not a handball. He didn't use his hand at all. Whereas like the other one, you'd be like, you can't give that. But this one, there was no reason. It was insane.
Yeah, I think they would have maybe protested, but they wouldn't be coming out after the game saying this ref is a joke. This is what a handball is. I think people would laugh them out the building. But yeah, it was just that's three goals. We'll say the potential for the penalty, we'll say 2.5 goals anyways.
Which is a lot.
That would have made it 3.5-2, which would have made them win the game. So yeah, listen, if you're Brighton, you're annoyed at that, and then the apology comes out. It's just salt in the wound.
Yes.
And when it's the third apology of the season, it's I don't know, poison in the wound.
The third apology in the last 4 months. They're nearly averaging one a month.
And like we were looking back over there, the other apology was a Stupian's goal, who I had in fantasy football that week. They drew the wrong line on the pitch.
Yeah, they drew the offside for the wrong person.
They weren't playing a big team that week, so they didn't really need to try that hard. You know, when is Tottenham we're going to really, analyze where that ball hitting that shoulder. But against Crystal Palace, draw a line where the ball is, or I don't know, something about offside. They drew the wrong line, and then he wasn't offside, and they disallowed that goal. They got an apology for that. Sorry, boys, didn't mean it.
Our bad.
Slip of the hand there. And then the other one was Evan Ferguson when he got tackled by Fabinho. Yeah. Fabinho wasn't red carded. They got an apology saying that probably should have been red card.
Yeah.
To which Brighton probably said, "I know."
Yeah. Duh.
Don't tell us. Not now.
Give him one now.
Yeah. No respected ban for that. I mean, Brighton won that game. That was in the FA Cup. But this is Brighton's best ever season in the Premier League, despite all that. In spite of the system working against them. They're still in the FA Cup semi-final. They're now down to, I think, 8th in the league. Sorry, Brighton are 7th. They're down to 7th. Aston Villa leapfrogged them with their win. They're into 6th. So Villa are now in the Conference League spot. Is that right?
Yeah, which is insane.
Or is 6th also Europa League qualifiers and 7th?
I think 7th is Conference, 6th is Europa. Yeah, that's right.
So Brighton in Conference League. Now I will say this, right? I think Brighton are very good. They're still, given recent transfers, a selling club. Would I be surprised if I saw someone like Caicedo or Estupiñán even, who was only bought this year, or Minotoma, be sold this season? No. Or in the summer, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. So the Europa League, it's very tough for a team like that. We've seen it with the likes of Newcastle years ago, Burnley when they had a really good run. They would eventually get relegated. You might say for different reasons, investments of that, but it can be a big step up. And if you don't have the squad, it can really hurt you. But and that's why the Conference League was brought in, because it's much more realistic for, I guess, Brighton, who are probably one of the 25 richest clubs in the world, I guess.
Little old Brighton.
If they're in the Premier League, they're probably much richer than everyone else in that competition. But what I'm saying is, in Brighton's plan, they're probably thinking it's unlikely we'll ever break into that top bit, but the Conference League is a European competition that they could win. Yeah. So this is probably where they want to be. But look, they'd much rather have the cushion of being in Europa League playoffs and then be able to drop down to 7th if that comes to. If you're getting robbed, you don't want to. You don't want apologies from the PGMOL. You want 3 points and say, right, let's put some more space between us and Liverpool. I mean, there's 2 points in between them now. And they have a game in hand, so it's looking good. But Brentford are also there, and then I guess that's probably the 3 teams are looking for the Conference League spots: Brentford, Liverpool, and Brighton. But yeah, it's shit for a club like Brighton. Yeah, you're having your best ever season, and this kind of bullshit is happening the whole season. It's you couldn't help but feel like the system is against the smaller teams, could you?
And I mean, I know bad decisions happen to the bigger teams too, but it's rare you see the apologies that level. Like there is contentious decisions in that, but it does always seem to be the little guy who're oh, sorry about that. Anyway, on to the next game.
Yeah, the last one, it was Frank Lampard who got the last apology.
Yeah, and it cost him his job pretty much.
Yeah, well, not that matters, Will, because this boy is going right at the top, as Harry Redknapp once famously said.
We had recorded an episode last week, but it was lost to the sands of time. But at the intro, we were laughing heartily at the thought of Frank Lampard going back to Chelsea when he was linked. I can't believe they've done it.
Well, I saw one screenshot. I hesitate to even mention it on this pod of all pods, but that James Corden advised Todd Boehly to take Frank Lampard back.
That can't be real. It can't be.
Is any truth to that?
If that's true, Chelsea are in big trouble.
If he's taking advice on recruitment from James Corden,
it must be fake. It must be. It can't be real. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. If that's real,
it was believable because like there was that one accompanying picture of James Corden in the box with Todd Bowley. I was like, okay, you have to be some level of close to the owner to be with him in the box. Like, I mean, Abramovich never had anybody but his like family in the box.
Didn't see fucking, I don't know, Conan O'Brien beside him in the box.
Like you never see anybody with the Glazers. It's always like, like to be the owner of the club, to bring someone in, you have to be like in the inner circle.
Yeah, which is, how does that happen?
So the fact, unless that's is that a real photo? Who knows?
It must be. Surely that's vetted at least.
But yeah, it's one big joke that Frank is back, because he was such a bad manager at Chelsea and then Everton, and it like obviously he's a young manager. That was his first few gigs, and it was like maybe too much too soon for him.
Yeah.
So in a way, you don't blame him at the start. But then when they offer to you again a few months later, you think, okay, well, surely Frank should have the cop on out. Say, okay, this is a job I can't do. I don't possess the skills. Who was one that saying to me, if I could be up front for Arsenal for the rest of the season and I have to play every single game, and you get the Premier League wage, would you do it? No, like, and in this scenario, you probably are going to cost. No, not probably. You will cost Arsenal League, but you get to play and you get paid a lot of money and you get to maybe score a goal. Probably not. But probably not. Would you do it? I was like, no, because you would be famous forever as the guy who blackmailed Arsenal into playing them every game, and it's like this is the thing with Frank. It's like, you're going back to be ridiculed. Like you're not going to turn. No one's going to turn this around for one. Let's get that out of the way. This is an absolute shit show. So for you to come back in here, it's like you're just going to showcase again your lack of ability here. And not to say that he can't, get better at the job and in a few years' time come back from what he learned and say, okay, they're the mistakes I made. But he's definitely not learned anything from the mistakes he made in the last few months.
He's left every club he's been at, except for maybe Derby. They were kind of the same. But Chelsea, he left them much worse off. Yeah. And Everton, he's totally tanked them and their reputation, I think. Yeah,
I mean, that wasn't, again, the Everton one wasn't a well-run machine before he went in, and he just dismantled everything and all right, lads, I'm off, It wasn't good, but we said at the time, like, he's not the man to turn around. This is a bad idea. And this is like the exact same thing at Chelsea. I'd say probably even worse than Everton, but the money they've spent, relative to the money they've spent and the quality of players they have, I can't believe that they've appointed Frank Lampard.
I mean, they'd be in a much better position if they just stuck with Tuchel.
Yeah.
Like, he was the guy.
Well, look, it's Todd Boy's club. He can do what he wants with us. That's the beauty of freedom, as he would call it. It's a free country. He can do what he wants. He's appointed Frank Lampard. They lost their first game under the second coming of Frank. I mean, of all the Chelsea managers, who's come back? Mourinho's come back. Did Avram Grant did Ancelotti do 2 stints?
No, I think, is it just Mourinho? It might just be Mourinho. Because they normally go out in a big ball of fire.
It always ends badly. It's always like, fuck you, no, fuck you, no, fuck you.
So, how does this go any way except a disaster? See, at least he's caretaker. So I think they know 6 months and then you're out. So there's not as much pressure, but like, still, surely you should be thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Try a new guy. Maybe he'll be the guy. Frank isn't the guy.
Yeah. And for Lampard, then what's in it for him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, okay, Chelsea, no one blames them. Everton, that was bad. You shouldn't have signed Dele Alli. Everyone knows that now.
Yeah,
everyone knew that then. But whatever, you shouldn't have signed Danny Van de Beek either. But, all that aside, you're early in the job. Derby was okay. You definitely have some ability to motivate. The next move was very important. So now to go back to Chelsea as a caretaker and probably do not much different. They'll probably still finish where they are now.
Yeah.
You leave when they bring in Nagelsmann or whatever.
Yeah.
What has this added to your career? Only that, you've told everyone that you're desperate to take any job.
Yeah, you've added another 3 months of losses to your record.
Yeah. When the stats come up of the game percentage, like that's now just been added to.
You're even lower.
There's now even a wider sample size of games you've lost. You know,
it wasn't just a fluke season.
And that's the thing, because he's been there before, and you've seen him manage in the Premier League before. Even if he was to win every game for the rest of the season, people would still say, well, that's just an extended managerial bounce, because we know he's not a good manager.
Yeah.
So like, there's no mystery anymore. When he comes back in first, it's like, maybe he'd be like Zidane. Maybe he'd be like Arteta, maybe even, you know? Maybe he's learned something.
Exactly.
But when you've seen him play, you go, no. This is not one of those situations. This is more of a Solskjaer situation than a Zidane situation. So you come back into Chelsea again, it's like, well, you took that job because no one else wanted this as a caretaker role, so that's why you've taken that. Then you leave. And it's like, you know, it just adds nothing to him. I don't think it's going to help Chelsea. It's the most bizarre appointment. I did not see it coming.
No, me neither. And as well, I think it's always a risk. Like, it makes sense to give yourself time to get the new manager in, but I think it is a risk when you have someone who's like, they're a caretaker for the next 6 months. Essentially, what you're telling the players is like, hey, he's going to be gone in 6 months. Don't even bother.
Yeah.
You don't need to impress this guy at all. Everyone's going to get a clean slate at the start of next season.
A lot of those players have, top hotshot agents as well.
Yeah.
You're saying, right, how am I going to get my boy out of here? You know? So
I'm 6 months into this 8-year deal. I've had enough.
I want to move him on and get another bit of 10% my way. So I'm going to start shopping around now, because there's a manager here for 6 months. There's no plan here. I don't know who the manager is.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get myself out here. Get my boy to PSG. You know, get a nice little payday.
Yeah.
So
every agent's dream.
And every agent is trying to get him out. I mean, Mudryk. I don't know who Mudryk's agent is, but he's thinking, oh wow, this is not good. This is not a good situation for me or him. So yeah, it adds more kind of uncertainty and instability to all those players and agents and all that kind of shit that goes with Chelsea. So yeah, and like I say, they lost the first game against Wolves. So it's not even that there's been a managerial bounce. It's just all negatives in my eyes.
And because I don't think Potter, like, it didn't go well, but it didn't seem like they had down tools. It was just like the squad isn't working. So there's not much to bounce from. It's not like he can go out and was like, hey, play your game, guys. That doesn't work, because that's, I think, what Potter was trying. Yeah,
God knows what he was doing. Just having new players added to his team sheet every week, trying to manage it all. Will also convince people that he's a tough guy, that he's tough enough for this league. Where's he go now?
I don't know. He was linked with Leicester the day after he lost the Chelsea job, and he very smartly, I think, turned it down, because I think he knows, I don't need to be linked with any relegations for a while. I think it'd be good if I disappeared for a year, maybe come back.
I think if you're, I think that would be a good appointment in the summer. If Leicester's still in the Premier League in the summer, and he can come in and, you know, actually buy players he wants.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good combo. I think that's the player at the level of Brighton that have the ability to compete for Europa League spots, and compete well in that competition, but not now. Don't take it now.
No, I could see him. I think it'd be a terrible idea for him and the club, but I could see him at Spurs in the summer, because it seems like they were hell bent on Nagelsmann, and now he wants to go to Chelsea. And I think Luis Enrique is the other Chelsea manager, but I don't think Spurs are actually in for him. So
yeah,
I mean, that makes sense. He's available.
Yeah, but we've talked ad nauseum, I feel, about Spurs and their future.
Exactly, yeah.
And will Kane be there? Will Son be there? Son scored his 100th league goal, I saw.
A screamer as well.
It was a screamer. I saw then a debate broke out on Twitter of who would be the worst 100 Premier League goal club show to watch. You know, that the one on Sky Sports, they always show the Paul Scholes, which is full of screamers. Yeah. I think the resounding response was either Darren Bent or Dion Dublin.
Yeah, for sure. Joe would be a bad one, even though he's an amazing player. Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah,
those are just tap-ins.
That came up. That was a lot of tap-ins, and then also Raheem Sterling. Someone
Yeah.
said, I don't want to watch end line cutback 60 times, please.
Yeah.
Like most of the City calls, just like down the main, cut it back, bang, starting finishes. Like yeah. Honestly, the ones from the 90s and the early 2000s was a lot more kind of free flowing. There's less thought and less kind of
lash it. Just try score. That's all you have to do.
Teams are a lot less organized. The bad teams were a lot less organized. I think the good teams were as organized as they are now, but there was a lot more bad teams, so you could just score screamers and like, why is that you marked him? Don't know, not good enough, I suppose.
Yeah, he's too fast for me.
Yeah, the gaps between the biggest teams and the small teams was a lot bigger back then. So yeah, some of those goals are good. Matt Tiz's ones is a great one. That's a great watch. But yeah, Son's had a good few screamers. I think Son is nowhere near. I don't know. I don't want to imply that Son will be bad. Son scored some absolute scorching goals.
Great player to watch.
Yeah, but again, he's one of those players now. I think he's 30 or 31. One last. I mean, he would add to a Premier League, to a Champions League complete side.
Yeah, 100%.
So
he would slot into any of the teams battling for top four that aren't Spurs immediately. I think he'd be a dead on starter. Like,
I could see him as a replacement for that Napoli fella who's going to get bought this summer. I'd say.
Yes,
he's got those insane sideburns.
Yeah,
the mutton chops. He's coming to a BT Sports package near you. Believe you me.
Yeah, for sure. Chelsea.
Do you ever see those ones where it's they do one like, say, for like, I think it was for the Man United Everton game on BT, and they had all the players like, this Sunday 1 p.m. It's like, did they record that this today? Like, because it's like it's for this game. Like, it's obviously in their contract, like their appearance contract or whatever for Man United or for Everton. They have to come in and do these things.
My theory is at the start of the season, they get them in their home and their away kit, and they get them to say every day of the week, every time they can, and then they can just slot them in.
Surely, I mean, it's only a matter of time, but they can just do that through AI.
Yeah, exactly. I spent yesterday listening to fake Kanye West songs.
Yeah, I saw that.
If they could do that.
Yeah, but I could see Kvatsky doing one of those for BT in a Chelsea jersey. Yeah. This Sunday, Aston Villa, we're coming for you. Yeah, and then song over the way. But the point being that, like, say, this is, if someone wants to do that now, this is where he's going to get those offers this summer. You know, not next summer probably, if he says at Tottenham. So if you're Graham Potter in, you have to kind of look at all these things coming in. So, yeah, I don't know. A lot of managers going around. A lot of managers being sacked. My one prediction has come true so far. This would be a season with the record number of managers being sacked. It all started, I think, with Scott Parker being sacked 2 hours into the Premier League season, if I remember correctly.
It felt like 5 minutes into the first game, he's gone.
Yeah, and I think just the general prediction was like, yeah, there's a lot of good teams in this. There's a lot of money spent again last summer. I was like, a lot of these teams are really good. So some teams are going to be unhappy with the finish. I was not expecting Liverpool and Chelsea to be so far off, but in the grand scheme, this is how my predictions work. You know, I have a gut feeling it happens, but not for the reason I think. And I go, told you, fucking told you. You know? So yeah, I think it's what, 12 managers, 30 managers have been sacked this season?
I think it's 12, yeah. And I don't think we're done. I could see another one or two going.
Yeah, I could see, because we're now at we're in the stage of when they give up totally. And they sack the manager as a punishment for doing badly.
Yeah.
Like
you've ruined this for us.
We know we're not going to save anything by sacking you, but we want you to know this was your fault. We want you to blame us firmly at your door.
We want the ball rolling on the next guy's summer transfer, so get out of here.
Yeah, they do that excuse sometimes. Well, we just want him, bed it in. It's like, he's got 3 months to get bedded in, you know? You're just being mean now. You're trying to sack this guy. It's like, fuck him.
It's there's been so many managers sacked that it feels like lots of clubs don't have managers at the moment.
It does. Because
I couldn't tell you who's managing.
We saw De Zerbi and Scalini. Did you see him before the game?
No, actually, no.
Before the game, they had a very weird interaction. It was a handshake, a very firm handshake, and they brought each other chest to chest.
Yeah.
And then De Zerbi started pointing his finger at this and going, you know, and I was like, okay, that's obviously an old
weird,
the old Italian welcome, they call it. So there's obviously a history there, and then there was a big fracas on the sidelines.
Kerfuffle.
De Zerbi was like obviously right in the middle of it. He had something. He had a bone to pick from the start of the game. Like, I see that fucker Scalini, I'm gonna piece my mind. Scalini was like, no, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not even going to look at this whole thing get off.
Yeah.
He also gets sent off. I found out why he got sent off. Because
really?
It's the manager's responsibility to control his staff in the technical area. So you take responsibility. If your staff goes out in the technical area and they start pushing shoving, that's on you.
You're fucked.
Have to. So, but my point being, of all the caretaker managers, he definitely didn't know that. Because he's not a manager. He's a caretaker manager. He was like, why am I getting sent off? And like, someone have to explain the rule later on. Like, you as the main manager, which is what you are, in caretaker form, you are responsible for everyone who yesterday or 2 weeks ago was on your level. You're now their boss, and you take all the brunt of it. So I feel there's a few managers out there who probably have to brush up on the rules of what is the manager's, responsibility here.
Like, I couldn't tell you who's managing Leicester right now.
Oh, I don't know. Who is? It's one of those situations where all his staff is gone. Do we know?
No idea. I'm going to look it up right now. But that's never. I don't remember that ever in my life where I couldn't tell you who's a manager in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's moving season.
Well, they're close to appointing Dean Smith on a short-term deal.
Oh yeah.
Is there only like 7 managers out there? What's the story?
The managerial merry-go-round, a well-trodden trail by different managers. I mean, they get a run on it. They get a run on it, and then eventually people lose faith in them. It happened to Pardew. It happened to Big Sam. Eventually they go, okay, this guy doesn't have much to offer anymore.
Well, the current joint caretaker manager for Leicester is Adam Sadler.
Adam Sandler?
No, Sadler.
Big Daddy himself.
One letter off a very funny name.
Who was the guy? Oh yeah, Michael Jackson was managing Burnley last season.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, it's Mike Jackson.
Yeah.
Not Michael, not that guy. Mike Jackson.
Look at this headline from Leicester's website. "We have to stick together," says Sadler. If I saw that a week ago, I'd be like, who's Sadler? What's he talking about? Is he like a youth team coach? Is that what's going on here?
Oh, this must be an article from the WSL. That's what tricked me in. Yeah, no, but honestly, that Mike Jackson bit is literally the joke from Office Space, where his name is Michael Bolton. Like, it's Mike, just call him Mike Bolton. Don't call him Michael. No, it's mad how many managers have been sacked. But I knew it was going to happen this way. Well, I didn't know, but I felt it was going to happen this way because there's a few teams who were on Leicester thought they were going to push on.
Yeah.
Liverpool, Chelsea, obviously, it's the hugest point for them. Tottenham, of course, everyone was saying it's their year to win the league. No one saw Arsenal competing for the league. So it's been all over. So obviously there's going to be teams who are like, well, this was not the plan at all. So someone has to go. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll take a couple of seasons for it to kind of settle down and people to kind of accept where they are. I think you'll see, obviously, City and Newcastle will rise to the top with the money they have.
Yeah.
I think if they can hold on to Ten Hag, United will slowly figure it out as well. And I hope Arsenal are also in the shake-up. Chelsea and Liverpool, I don't know what's going to happen with them, but you'd imagine just the financial ability they have.
They have to get it right.
They have to get it right.
Chelsea especially.
And the way Brighton and Leicester sell their players, they can't keep it up.
Yeah.
So, but right now you're still in that kind of in between time of like, okay, the sleeping giants haven't figured out, but when they do, it'll all come back into that traditional top 6 or whatever. But as a result, a lot of managers have seen the door this year because of it. What else do we have then? We had.
We didn't have an episode last week, but we did have a little bonus, little sneak peek of the Patreon, which people seem to like. I had multiple people say, "And do you do this? Is this like a new podcast?"
Yeah, I think a lot of people love us. They see us as kind of like, like Hercules. He was a man, but also a god.
Yes,
he wasn't quite a god, but people knew that he was better than them. I think that's how people see us.
Yes, correct.
Kind of like the Beatles mixed with creatine. Just like wow,
doing a podcast,
wow, talented, jacked. Questionable haircuts. That's
Yeah.
that's what people see us. So when they hear that we're talking about something that they don't have well, say I don't know, they like, because people don't necessarily like football as much as we do,
No, yeah.
uh,
But they want to hear.
But
They
they
want to hear our thoughts.
they want to hear our
inner
thought
workings.
on everything. They cannot get enough of us. So that's what I think the reaction you're experiencing, Will.
100%.
And if you're one of those people who see us as demigods, then you can subscribe to our other podcast, our other outlet for our thoughts and our feelings in After the Nonsense, which you record immediately after this one. So it's very chill, very relaxed. It's like taking a break after work with your boys.
Yeah. Taking your hard hat off and keeping the mics on.
Keep the mics rolling. And taking our hard hats off and our high vis jackets off after a hard day at the podcasting factory.
Yeah.
we take out our civilian mics, and we just riff on lots of stuff. This week, you want to see my holiday?
Oh, it's time.
Am I running with airport security?
We've been waiting. My bated breath.
My yet another running with airport security. That's all coming on the Patreon. You subscribe to that at patreon.com/no nonsense podcast. $5 a month, standard stuff.
Yeah. And if you can't find the link is in the description to this episode.
Yeah. So come on over to that. You'll get a second episode of us being cool and relaxed and chill and thoughtful. And then also a second football podcast where midweek games, Champions League games, FA Cup games, especially now where they're just trying to run off all the games in hand. I mean, there's a couple of teams with like 3 or 4 games in hand. They're like, when are they going to play that?
Yeah.
Like I remember last year, Burnley had like 5 games in hand at one stage.
Yeah.
For different reasons. Weird they got relegated in the end when they ran off all those games in the middle of the week. I mean, people kind of gloss over that, but yeah, the point anyways of the second podcast is to kind of pick up on this different stuff that might happen. Like again, that elbow to Robertson could happen to midweek, Yeah,
it would be gone by the time.
We wouldn't get to talk about it or give our sage thoughts on it. So that's what the second one is, to try and get up all the good stuff. So yeah, I'd like to head over there to Patreon / a no nonsense podcast, $5 a month, 2 extra episodes, supports the show, keeps it all going. If you don't support the show, it will end. Okay, let's call a spade here. We've had it long enough.
That's when the other podcasts say, "Hey, support the show," they're saying, "I need this."
Yeah, they might have like backers or like a love for this. We don't. We're here for the money. We've been lining this up for 2 years now. Okay, so this is
the well is running dry.
We're walking around with a hat. We've locked the doors and we're shaking the hat at you. Empty your pockets. We're saying. So that's what you had to look forward to at patreon.com/a no nonsense podcast. Yeah, good stuff.
And one final story for this week, I'd say. Did you see what happened in Real Madrid's game in the La Liga, the latest one against Villarreal?
No, I did not see it, Will.
So, Villarreal won 3-2.
What?
Whenever you're beating Madrid, I'd imagine it's quite a feisty affair. I'd say if tempers start to flare, because Madrid aren't so used to losing ever. But it took a turn when Alex Baena allegedly made a comment about Valverde's child on the pitch. And there was a bit of a scuffle.
Yeah.
But that's not what the main story is. Apparently, after the game, Valverde seeked out Baena in the parking lot and punched him in the face.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You hear about people saying that. I'm going to find you in the car park.
I'll find it.
Rarely do they follow through on that,
Yeah. And I mean, it's very rare to see this in football, I think. You see it every week in the NBA.
Oh, Will, come on. I think you're being a bit unkind, I don't think they actually fall out the car park. This is unheard of. That they actually fall out the car park.
Allegedly so, apparently. And we've talked a bit about PGMOL, well, the Spanish version, which doesn't say the name of. But they said, as of now, there has been 0 video evidence found in which Baena makes any reference to Valverde's child, as is reported from Madrid. So who knows what was said?
Well, I think we can do. He said something. He said
something.
He said
You
enough.
didn't like it.
We could say for definite he was talking when he should have been listening. All right, because that you don't follow him out for saying we're going to beat you today. You wait with CUP2.
We'll find out who the real loser is.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many, many garbage things.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
This is a shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
He was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the
Plenty of
time.
time, no problem.